Research conducted at Max Planck and Harvard University builds the basis of a new product called human plugins. In this video, we'll explain how this new software has the potential to become the standard in the field of music humanizing. Electronically generated rhythms are often perceived as too artificial. The human plugin software now allows producers to make rhythms sound more natural in computer-produced music. The company Max-Planck, whose music software is used worldwide by leading music producers and internationally renowned DJs, has now launched the new product. Nowadays, music is often produced electronically. The reason is simple. Pieces of music can be easily created and reworked without a recording studio and expensive musical equipment. All that is needed is a computer and a digital audio workstation, also called DAW. This software or small device for recording, editing and producing music generates the desired sound for any software instrument from piano to drums. Much of the music, however, is produced with quantized, artificial-sounding loops. These loops have no natural groove, and there is no standardized process to humanize them. Unfortunately, too high precision sounds artificial to the human ear. But randomly shifting sounds by a few milliseconds isn't enough. It just doesn't sound like a live musician. The new humanizing method developed at the Max Planck Institute for Dynamics and Self-Organization now makes it possible to add natural variances to electronic rhythms. This creates a more natural sound experience. A method based on this and developed at Harvard University, called Group Humanizer, expands the scope of application to several instruments. This makes the temporal deviations in the interplay of different electronic and acoustic instruments sound human. The research started out with the simple question whether musicians' temporal deviations from the exact beat vary purely by chance or follow a certain pattern, and what effect this has on the music perception. The researchers could show that the deviations follow a fractal pattern. The term fractal was coined by mathematician Benoit Mandelbrot in 1975 and describes patterns that have a high degree of scale invariance or self-similarity. This is the case when a pattern consists of several small copies of itself. A drummer's rhythmic fluctuations follow statistical dependencies not just from one beat to the next, but over up to 1,000 beats. This results in a pattern of structures and dependencies that repeat over several minutes, known as long-range correlations, which are present on different time scales. The research shows that the interaction of different musicians is also fractal in nature with so-called long-range cross-correlations. Human musical rhythms are not exact, and the fractal nature of the temporal deviations is part of the natural groove of human music. To test the new findings, a piece of music composed specifically for this research was humanized in post-production. The piece was played to test subjects in different re-edited versions as part of a psychological study at the University of Göttingen. One version contained conventional random deviations. Another version contained the fractal deviations. The result: the version with human fractal deviations was preferred by most listeners over conventional random deviations and was perceived as the most natural. Following an article in the Harvard Gazette, musician James Holden became aware of the new technology. Together with the researchers, he further developed the theoretical foundations into a plugin for the software Ableton Live. James Holden uses it in his live shows and albums, focusing on the interaction of several MIDI tracks. The ability to integrate synthetic and human sound sources in a coherent manner that the Humanizer software has unlocked has let me access a new aesthetic in electronic, acoustic music, says James Holden. The Group Humanizer plugin finally caught the attention of the company Max-Planck. The company, based in Miami, develops and markets software for DJs and music producers, including the Max-Planck suite. Max-Planck has licensed the humanizing patent developed at the MPI as well as the Group Humanizer patent developed at Harvard University. It now has developed a software plugin called Human Plugins. This new plugin can be integrated into all common DAWs such as Ableton Live, Logic Pro 10, Florida Studio, Pro Tools and Cubase. The users only add one or several new audio tracks to the DAW, which enables the humanizing of several instruments at a time. Alternating the strength of humanizing, even a certain feel of rhythm can be created depending on the style of music. Visit mixtinky.com/human to listen to some sound bites using human plugins and to compare different settings. With the new human plugins, the humanization of electronic rhythms is taken to a completely new level and could potentially become the standard in the field of music humanizing.